premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. Guys, as usual, we'd like to remind you to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support the Kenya Simbas as they're still looking to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Denima Duffield.
And I'm Nashi Official Noisemaker.
So, as is customary, we start off with Badman of the Week from our feature week, which was KCB versus Black Blood. Now, of course, you know, Badman usually comes from the winning side. But I think Levi Amunga's kicks. The reason I would say Levi Amunga for me is the fact that, you know, it doesn't matter how well you play if you don't score. You know, and he managed to get most of the points on the board for Black Blood. So that is why he's my Badman.
I mean, Levi will always have a decent game by normal standards, and he's a talent to watch. Like, we were sitting down with likes of Oliver Mangeni, George Sin, and we were asking what happens to Levi Amunga when he finishes at KU, because that's where the problem is going to come in. He needs to continue playing rugby, and he needs to go to a team that's going to fit his style of playing. But anyway, he had a decent game. But my bad man of the week was Davis Chenge. When he was on the pitch.
Well, not when he was off the pitch.
His ball carrying was exceptional. I loved the way he played the gaps on the day. Davis Chenge has sometimes been very notorious for playing the man, but on this specific day he played the gap when actually playing the man would have worked very well for him, comparing his size to the pool of Black Blood. So his ball carrying was excellent. He played the gap. He didn't have too much work to do at the breakdown because there was not really a contest at the breakdown. But I think all in all, he had a very good game, and just conversation with people after the game, we were like, man, Chenge did have a decent game in the game. A couple of guys also, Oscar Sorano had a decent game, Nelson Nyandat when he came on, but my bad man of the week is Davis Chenge.
All right, well done to those two. Now, moving on to Rugby 101. This is one of the terms that, I mean, if this ever happens to you, I feel for you. I really do.
So, I mean, our term today is what's known as a tip tackle, or is a spear tackle. Has been known that's how it's been known since 1995. Spear tackle, tip tackle. In Kenya, people call it 6 foot. Call it planting. So basically, the tip tackle or the spear tackle is when a player lifts another player into the air and brings him to ground in a way that he's going to land with his back, he's going to land with his head, or he's going to land with his neck. Previously it used to be a yellow card offense, but I think as of maybe honestly 7, 8 years ago, because I remember the Rugby World Cup in 2011 in the semi-finals, France versus Wales. Wales captain at that time, Sam Warburton, was involved in a tip tackle, and he was sent off. So it's considered, of course, dangerous play. It's likely to elicit some cheers from the crowds because of what happens in between or before, but it's considered dangerous play and results in a straight red card.
Which makes sense. I mean, we've got to want to keep the sport as safe as possible. You want all your 15 players coming off the pitch in one piece. So it does warrant a red card in the event that you're caught doing this. Now, moving on to the Shujaa Sevens, that is our Kenya Sevens team, went down to Cape Town, and their performance wasn't as good as maybe last week, but they played France. They lost that game. They were winning at some point, and they lost that game 21-14. Played Russia, won convincingly, 34-0. Then played South Africa, a better loss than the other loss, but still a loss. So that was 26-7. Then they went on to the Challenge Trophy quarterfinals, where they played against Samoa and lost at 19-17. So that's, you know, narrow loss, but still a loss. And then they played Scotland in the 13th place semi, won that 33-12, and then went on to the final to play our neighbours Uganda and won that 24-14. They dropped to 11. But how was
the
that?
First two legs.
How was that?
Look, from an SNC point, from a strength and conditioning point, our boys are looking fitter, our boys are looking stronger, they're attacking the breakdowns, they are hitting when needs to be hit, where needs to be hit. But what's lacking, and what I've seen, and that has been very consistent from Dubai and in Cape Town, is that game maturity, that discipline to you know, just be patient and let the phase come to you, let the game come to you rather than you chasing the game. I already talked about New Zealand last in episode 50. Today, episode 51, I'll be highlighting the game versus France. They were leading, and I remember for France to claw back into the game, we had a chance in the opposing 5. Scrambling defense from France because it was a break. Come on, commit 4 people to a rack in a game of 7. Then you leave 3 people out. Come on, guys. And what happened is that there was an infringement, quick turnover, quick ball, and France were able to, go past our guys. Against South Africa, we gave away 11 of our balls to South Africa. Those are the things that are hurting us. Those are the things that we need to work on. Our S&C is looking right. Our tackling is looking good. Our breakdown contesting is looking good. Our scrum is looking good. But it's just this discipline and this maturity to be able to, finish the game, as they say. So, but all in all, I think it can only get better. There are a couple of young heads who are going there. Some of the others, there are a couple of young heads who are there. So we can only hope that it's going to get better once Sydney comes.
Although, you talked about the strength and conditioning and the fact that we're looking a lot fitter. And that shows when you look at the performance trackers. I think this is the most people we've had. We've had top tacklers, we've had top try scorers, we've had top carries, line breaks. I think the boys are doing very well. But again, you need to convert. I mean, if you don't score, you don't win.
You don't win. So it's about the points on the board at the end of the day.
Well, let's wait for the next one. See how that goes. And hope we'll have top performers and we'll register more wins.
That's true. I agree with you.
And now moving on to 15s rugby, Kenya Simba's head coach Jerome Paarwater, he's gone back to South Africa. And I think a lot of people are not happy with that. He's been relieved of his duties, and maybe just tell us a little more about.
I'll start by saying something I've said a lot of times on the Three Quarters podcast. The main stakeholders of any game, and let's be particular here, the main stakeholders of the rugby game is number 1, the players, and number 2, the fans. The officials who run this game, you've been elected by the fans and the players, or people in general, to run this game on behalf of them. It's not for you. It is on behalf of them. There's a group that was formed about 3 years ago called the Kenya Cup Caucus, which consists of the 12 chairmen of the Kenya Cup teams. I'm not saying all of them are involved, but I read a lot of mischief in this Jerome Paarwater's sacking from the caucus. And what they need to realize is that, look, you are not there to fulfill your selfish interests. You are there to run the game on behalf of number 1, the fans, and number 2, the players, number 1.
The fans.
Number 1, the players, and number 2, the fans. Takes it back to a conversation we were having with one of the, I won't mention him for fear of him being hit, but one of the Kenya Simba's players that we were talking to on Saturday, and he said his analogy was spot on. When you were in class 1, you beat everyone in class 1. But when you move to class 2, you not expect you to be beating everyone.
When you just gotten there.
It takes time for you to be able to get into the system. I mean, we were invited to the Cup of Nations because we were better than Zimbabwe, and for us to get to the level where we are is largely because of the work that Jerome Paarwater has done in the last 5 years to take us from number 40 to number 22, and then we've dropped to number 30 this year, not because of anything he's done, but it's because of the lack of support. Rather, the lack of support from the lack of support from the union for the game of 15s. So, and the guys who were involved in this decision, look, you don't get rid of a coach just before the World Cup qualifiers. It is not right on any level. And look, it's going to sound hard, but anyone who was involved in this decision, shame on them. It was not a right decision. It was not a good decision. You're using this guy as a scapegoat. He has sacrificed a lot, I think, to be the coach here. And I think he actually did like interacting with the boys. I can guarantee you the players are not happy about it. And it boils down to what we are saying. The people who are in charge of running the game in this country, are they really there because of the stakeholders of the game, or they're there just because of the selfish interests? Those are the questions that need to be asked. And unfortunately in Kenya, this thing is going to die. Next week we're going to be talking about a different story, and then if you don't qualify for the World Cup, you see it's because Jerome was not on. Anyway. Well, just leave it there.
We'll see how it goes, but I mean that's definitely a decision that a lot of people are not happy about. And I personally think it will affect the performance of the boys going forward. But I mean, let's see who gets appointed as coach after this.
We'll wait and see.
Now moving on to international rugby, we had the autumn tests and then they were finished, and now we want to see the World Rugby standings. So at the top we've got New Zealand, followed by England, Ireland, Australia and Scotland. So those are top 5. South Africa just missed out, 6th, and then we being Kenya Simbas, we finish off at 30th.
for their top 5, it's a true reflection of the state of rugby currently as we speak. The thing that interests me the most here is New Zealand and England. Finally, we have somebody joining New Zealand in the 90s in terms of points. England are at 90, New Zealand are at 93, but it's a fair reflection. Simbas, we've talked about it previously, finishing number 30 this year. Last season, we finished number 22. Boils down to management. It's something to do with management. It has nothing to do with the talent of the boys. It's all about the boys' preparation, and something needs to change. I mean, to drop 8 places is not right. In a span of a year, it's not right. But anyway, we wait and see what's going to happen.
Well, guys, remember to let us know what you think, how you think our boys can improve, and what you think needs to be done. Remember, you can do this by liking our page on Facebook, following us on Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Denise Duffield.
And I'm Nash, your official noisemaker.
Stay tuned for part 3.